Now, we abolitionists all cheered at the recent news that Jeff Rosen, District Attorney of Santa Clara County, a longtime proponent of the death penalty, had changed his position and moved to seek the resentencing of 15 men in his jurisdiction from death to life. But what was unfortunately not mentioned in that exciting announcement is that in doing so, he was following an example set by our next presenter, who has already moved to resentence twice as many men in his jurisdiction and plans to do so for all the others. So here tonight to present the Roseburg Commitment to Justice Award is a veteran of the U.S. Army and the LAPD. He's the first Latino to hold offices of San Francisco District Attorney and Los Angeles District Attorney. In those roles, he has always courageously directed those in his office away from seeking the death penalty, at the same time making a powerfully compelling case that capital punishment has no relationship to public safety. As said, he long ago made the decision to review the death sentences of those condemned by LA County and has clearly inspired others, like D.A. Rosen, to follow his example. He's a dedicated leader in our movement and a devoted public servant. It is my honor to present our Roseburg Commitment to Justice Award, Los Angeles District Attorney George Minsker.
Mike, thank you for your incredible work and your commitment, not only to ending the death penalty, but your unwavering commitment to justice in our country and around the world. And I want to thank also the Death Penalty Focus and all of you that have been doing this work for so many years, for your courage, for your willingness to do things that are often unpopular, and for standing up for the right things. You know, as the District Attorney of LA, my duty is to keep our community safe, and I am relentless on that effort. But let me be unequivocal. The death penalty does not make us safer. To the contrary, it siphons millions of dollars each year from rehabilitation programs that can reduce recidivism and make us safer. It impacts the credibility of our legal system because it is so discriminatory in its application. And it makes us less human when the wrongfully convicted faces execution. Regrettably, contrary to what many may believe, LA County has been very death happy for many years. As a matter of fact, when I took office, my predecessor put 23 men of color in death row, even during the time when the death penalty was frozen for a time in California. There's a gentleman here in this room, there are multiple actually, Frankie Carrillo, who's a good friend of mine, who's wrongfully convicted. And Mr. Maurice Hastings, who spent 37 years in prison, convicted of rape and murder for crimes that he did not commit. And he actually faced the death penalty in the hands of my office, and really but for the grace of God, he survived. He wound up in prison and then for years tried to have his sentence reviewed. In my office, twice, not once but twice, told him that the DNA that may be present on a rape kit that would have caused him to be proven innocent had been destroyed. And it wasn't until our administration came into office that we found a rape kit. Had it tested, not only did it prove that Mr. Hastings was not the killer and the rapist, but the killer and the rapist went out to rape other women until he was caught. I want to thank another unsung hero, Shalon Joseph, who's here with us today. Shalon, stand up, please. Shalon was a public defender for nearly 30 years before she came to my office about 3 years ago. And she came to my office to stop the death penalty in LA County. And she has been working relentlessly, resentencing people that were on death row, 30 so far. And the work that she has done has actually led to the work of others, including the Santa Clara DA's office, who uses her work in order to facilitate what they're trying to do now, which we commend. Not only have we resentenced 30 people from death row into life without the possibility of parole, but we have resentenced 280 others, and we have exonerated 14 people, including Mr. Hastings. But you know, this work has not been easy, and the reason why I'm talking about Shalon before I get into our honoree, who's also an incredible woman, is because, again, you would think that here in California we would not have to have these fights. But you're wrong. Each and every resentence case in LA County on the death penalty case has occurred because Shalon has had to fight the Attorney General of California and their opposition to resentencing people that have proven mental health problems and learning disabilities, which by law should not be facing the death penalty. And they have fight us. They fight us at every step of the way. And they continue to maintain that resentencing laws do not apply to death penalty cases. In fact, we have a case pending in the appellate court over that. And she also has to fight victims' lawyers that have been attacking us and saying that it is a conflict of interest for her to do this work because she was a former public defender. And therefore, not only she should be disqualified from doing this work, but I should be conflicted out. You know why they're doing that is because we're being very successful. And to add insult to injury, we're fighting judges that for political reasons often don't even accept the stipulations from experts indicating that someone is mentally disabled. And in an unprecedented case, we had a judge actually hire his own expert, only to be told by his own expert that our expert was correct. I could go on and on, but I want to move on to our honoree today, who's also someone that I've known for many years. As a matter of fact, Natasha and I met when I was first elected as the district attorney in San Francisco in 2011. Actually, before I was elected, when I was appointed first. I was appointed after our vice president became the attorney general of the state, and I supported her, and quite unexpectedly, our governor now appointed me to her role, and then I was elected twice. And Natasha came to me because she had heard that I was pro-death penalty. And, you know, I readily admit that I have evolved. I was a police officer for many years, and I felt that if you took a life, sometimes the outcome of that should be that you pay with your own life. Now, by the time I was the new DA, I no longer thought that, but I had ambiguities. And Natasha came to me to talk about why she believed that the death penalty was wrong, and other things that were wrong with it. And, not only she brought things that I already knew, but she brought many other things that I didn't know. Needless to say that I had never thought the death penalty as a prosecutor either in San Francisco or in LA. In fact, when I became the DA here, there were almost 100 people that were facing the death penalty. In fact, that we took them all out, aside from the fact those that had been resentenced. But Natasha has been relentless in her work for many, many years. As an attorney focusing on criminal justice, she exemplifies the spirit of justice and courage that we celebrate here tonight. Your leadership, Natasha, in the campaign to repeal the death penalty in California, and your years of dedication to criminal justice reform have had a profound impact in all of us and in the system. And in presenting you today with a Rose Elizabeth Byrd Commitment to Justice Award, we pay tribute to your unwavering commitment to fairness and equity. This award is aptly named. I know many of you would remember who Rose Byrd was, but I think there are some young ones here that probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But she presided over she as a Supreme Court Justice in California, dealt with 61 capital cases. When she served as Chief Justice, she never voted to uphold death. And in fact, in 1986, she was ousted from office because of her role in trying to stop the death penalty. And Justice Byrd herself once said, I want to say this slowly because I want all those to think about it. It is easy to be popular, but it is not easy to be just. Think about that, because we face that question each and every day. Many of us, multiple times a day. It is easy to be popular. It is not easy to be just. As the director of the ACLU, the California Center for Advocacy and Policy, he used a multidisciplinary approach to reform capital sentencing procedures, a reform that puts the death penalty on hold in California and hopefully will end it forever. As we honor you today, Natasha, for your work, we should reflect on the progress that we've made, but the work that still lies ahead. And we heard what is going on around the country. We will continue to build on the reforms that you have championed so that one day we may truly achieve a system of justice that is fair, equitable, and above all, where the death penalty goes into the history books. Thank you and congratulations, Natasha.
Thank you. It is truly meaningful to me to be honored and recognized by friends and colleagues who I've worked alongside with for so many years. And I'm really extremely thankful to DA Gascon and his colleague Shalon Joseph for their leadership in ending the death penalty. I believe that DA Gascon has done more to advance the end of the death penalty in California than anyone, except of course our beloved Mike Farrell. But I'd like to ask you all to stand and truly appreciate Shalon and DA Gascon, because they are fighting in the trenches, and as you heard, 30 men were resentenced and taken off death row because of their work, and they have not been properly thanked. So please thank them. Gascon mentioned the first time we met, and I remember that meeting well. We were talking about the death penalty, and I said, you know, they don't have the death penalty in Cuba. And he said, Fidel's ahead of us? That's when I knew that we were kindred spirits. A few months ago, we launched our campaign to call on Governor Newsom to grant universal clemency, to grant clemency to every person sentenced to death here in California. One of the first people to put their name on that list was DA George Gascon. And I want to ask all of you tonight to join him. I want you to take out your phones right now, and I want you to go to our website, clemencyca.org. That's clemency, CLEMENCY.org. Scroll down and click Add My Name, and you can join our campaign to end the largest death row in the country. Our goal is for Governor Newsom to commute all death sentences in 2025. That's just 7 months away. So I need every one of you to add your name to that list today, and tomorrow I need you to send that website to 5 people, and the next day to send it to 5 more. Because working together, we're going to clear the largest death row in the country. clemencyca.org. We're going to clear the largest death row in the country together. We are going to end death sentences in California together. And together, we are going to end the death penalty. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for your friendship. And thank you for fighting for justice.